guys, welcome to episode 144 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I am your host, Devin You can find me online at KnittyMcPurly.com. I am Knitty McPurly on Instagram, and if you want to email me, I'm Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. All that stuff is down below. Thumbs up the video, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Hello, how are you guys this weekend? It is super overcast today, but it is finally cooler. We had like 100 degrees all week. It wasn't actually 100, it was like 96, but when the humidity is 90%, I mean, it feels like 110. It was super yucky, but it's cooling down, very happy. Yeah. So it's funny, I've heard from a lot of you. A lot of you have had heat waves. Some people are like, gosh, I live in Oklahoma and it's not even that hot. I know. Virginia, I don't know. We usually get a week or two. That's just crazy. I'm drinking out of my very happy sunny cup that I got from North Carolina. Couple things I want to mention before we get into it. I've heard from a few people. I know Christy Glass talked about me on her Wednesday whip thingamajig she does with her Patreon folks. Hi, Christy. And she, as a result of that, I got a lot of new newsletter signups. And I heard from a lot of you that you weren't seeing the pop-ups. So when you go to my website, there's a square that pops up, which I can never seem to get a picture of for some reason. But if that goes away, there's a little half circle that will pop up that you can click on to sign up for the newsletter. But if you're using like Firefox, it might not work. Or if you have a pop-up blocker, those might not work. Try a different search engine, a different browser like Chrome or Safari. Try one of those and see if that will give you the pop-up so that you can sign up for the newsletter. I don't know how to add people manually. I can learn if I have to, but try another browser first. And if that doesn't work and you still need help, let me know. Okay, last week we talked a lot about chemo caps for people who are undergoing chemo and how amazing it would be to make some of those. And Melanie from Alabama, the one who shared the story last week, sent me this. She said, thanks for sharing my chemo cap story. It was great to hear. And I'm glad there seems to be others interested in donating. There is an organization in Southern California, which is also called Knots of Love, but it's not affiliated with her church. And they accept chemo caps and distribute them across the country. So I'll link that website down below. And I went and looked at it, and they accept donations for chemo caps, NICU blankets, limb covers, like for people who have lost limbs, and one other thing, like crutch covers. I can't exactly remember what it was. It was something I didn't recognize, but there are detailed directions on what to do to make these things. You can use any pattern you want, but there are like for the blankets, it says things like make a thin blanket that's soft and comfy and not one that's real knobbly, because if you're, wrapping up a NICU baby, you don't want to wrap them up in something covered in baubles. Like that's not going to be comfortable for the little baby. There's also an approved yarn list. I'll put that up on the screen. Most of these are very easy to find. They're inexpensive. So that's really nice. There are rules for how to send them in, but they're very doable. Like after you knit or crochet the item, you wash it, dry it with no scents, like no dryer sheets or anything like that. Of course, we knitters would never use dryer sheets, but nothing real with a heavy scent. And then when it's dry, you bag it up. And if you have a bunch of things, you can put them all in one bag and send them off to them. So that just sounds awesome. I think we should do that. Like, I love that there's already an organization that does this. If you want to make a chemo cap or a NICU blanket, like I said, go to the website. There's all kinds of information and directions. I'm going to be looking for some of this yarn that's in the it's not recommended, but it's the, what do they call it? The approved yarn list. You can't just send in any yarn. It has to be on the list. So when I go to Hobby Lobby, I'm going to go and see if I can find some of these yarns to make some of these hats, because I've got some kids who I think would also be, interested in making some of these. That's going to be really fun. Okay. Two other things before I get to progress and shop news. A lovely knitter named Rachel sent me this picture like a month ago, and I just found it in my inbox. I was bemoaning my inability to manage my inbox to my husband, and he was like, "Oh, well, let me set up the thing that makes all your shop emails go one place and all of your, people who've emailed you, like a special email, go somewhere else." And I was like, "Not now, like there's too much going on." But I will do that because I keep losing stuff. So if you email me and you feel like it's dropped into a black hole, feel free to send me another email and be like, "Knock, knock, hello, pay attention to me," because I really probably didn't even see it. So Rachel sent me this gorgeous picture, and it is the Faux Set that she made for the Faux Set along, and she used my Dubrovnik DK color collection. So this sweater shows all of the Knitty McPurly colors, and she used one skein of Fathom as the color that ties it all together. And I just thought she did such an amazing job. It takes a person with good color sense to know how to apply yarn to a project. And some people do it super well. In my Crocheting with Gigi segment, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But Rachel, I thought, did amazing. And I personally am so proud of this sweater. As the designer of the pattern and the dyer of the yarn, of course, she knit it. And she should be proud of it too because it's so beautiful. But I just think it was so, so good. I loved it. Also, I received some mail in my regular mailbox. And as it turns out, I'm just about as good at regular mail as I am at email. So these three lovely ladies, Becky, Judy, and Sherry, came to my knitting retreat back in January, and they sent me a Tennessee mug. Look at this. This is one of the Starbucks ones. I love that Starbucks has the state mugs. So this is a bunch of Tennessee stuff. And I said to them, and I said this to my husband, I was like, if any state deserves 2 mugs, it's Tennessee. I love that state. I've only been there, a handful of times, not a ton of times. But we've talked about retiring there. Like it's a beautiful state. It's got so much going for it. And it's orange on the inside. Isn't it so, so pretty? Thank you so much, ladies. So this package came to my P.O. box. Sometimes people send things to my P.O. box, which I always appreciate. But if you do, send me an email and tell me to go check it, because otherwise I won't check it and it'll sit at the post office for a month, which is what happened to the Tennessee mug. And it was funny, I just got this like 2 days ago. And then this morning she sent me an email, Sherry did, saying, "Did you get that package?" And I was like, "Yes, I did. I just got it." So thank you so much, ladies. I love it. It is fabulous. And I also got mail from Minnesota. I think that this is a football team. The Minnesotans are just face palming and shaking their heads right now like, I'm embarrassed for you, Devin. This is from Mona. Thanks, Mona. Mona sent me an entire Minnesota box. So let's look at this thing. This is awesome. All about Minnesota, the ABCs of the North Star State, 27 flashcards, because I do homeschool. And my kids are now going to know all about Minnesota. The iconic animals, food, cultures, and hobbies. So cute. Thank you so much, Mona. And there is some rib rub. This is what my husband would call it. He's a big smoker of meat. And a map of Minnesota, like a real one. Like the kind that you unfold. Oh my gosh, we are going to be looking at this with school. I've been to Minnesota a couple times too, not a lot of times, but one of my best friends in college, who I never see anymore because she entered the convent. And once you go in the convent, you just don't get interaction with your old friends like you used to. But she was from Minnesota. You betcha. So I feel like my Minnesota accent it's okay. It's not terrible. Gigi and I actually, we have a couple accents that we do a lot, and Minnesota is one of them. Thank you so much, Mona and Sherry and Judy and Becky. That was so nice of you guys. I really appreciate it. You guys don't have to send me anything, but when you do, I just love it. Thank you. If you want to send me something, email me, and I'll be happy to give you my regular mailing address. Or if you send it to my P.O. box, just tell me, and I'll go get it. Thank you so, so much. All right, progress and shop news. I have a new camera holder here, and I got it because I'm filming a lot of tutorials for the advent calendar. And so it's kind of a different look. What do you think? I think it's pretty good, but it wobbles a little bit. And it's not it, it's my table. My table's a little bit wobbly, but whatever, no one cares. Okay. The biggest news is that the Diggory Tee pattern came out on Friday. I love this sweater. I actually wore it with a jean jacket over it to mass this morning. And at that time I had dress pants on, but now I'm just wearing my sweatpants because the bottom half doesn't show on YouTube. But I actually think the Diggory Tee looks really cute with the sweatpants too. So my testers have finished up, almost all of them. I'll put up a couple pictures. They did such a good job. There are a couple that I wanted to put up here, like Katie, I can't find your picture. I went and looked. There's a couple different threads. Again, it's an email problem. I'm just bad at things. But Katie did a great job on hers too. But these knitters just did such a good job, and they're so happy. Trang said she was going to wear hers out for her birthday dinner tonight. Just filled with joy. Love it so much. So we're going to have a knit along starting today, ending October 22nd. So that gives you a little more than a month, which I feel like is enough time. Some people finish theirs in 3 weeks. Some people took, 5 weeks, or will take 6 weeks because it's a fingering weight, but it is really very basic. Doesn't have long sleeves. It's not super long. It's really, it's bottom up. So you're starting at the bottom and knitting up to the armhole. And at that point you do the shaping. And that really goes pretty quick, I think. I've made 2 of these. I can't find my other one. How do I live my life? I don't know. But anyway, the pattern is available now for 20% off using the code Diggory20. And go get that now. That'll be on sale for another week if you want to grab that. And go shop your stash or wherever else you like to get yarn. The 2 smallest sizes use 2 skeins. The 4 middle sizes use 3 skeins, and the 2 biggest sizes use 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn. So it's really not a tremendous amount of yarn. Not having sleeves, not being super long, really makes it a totally doable knit. Now, I did not alternate skeins on mine because I am lazy when it comes to alternating. I just don't like to. And I think it came out pretty good. I think you can kind of see, now that I pointed out, you can kind of see. I will alternate skeins for a little bit, but not the whole sweater. But I don't think it's too noticeable. I think it looks pretty good. I love this quality that hand-dyed yarn has. But if you want a sweater that's more uniform, you can use a machine-dyed yarn, and it's gonna be just all one color. Some of my testers did that, and those turned out fabulous. So if you wanna participate in the knit along, put your picture on Instagram with the hashtag DiggoryKnitAlong. The pattern also references the hashtag Diggory Tee and Knitty McPurly, but for the knit along, we're going to use Diggory Knit Along. And I figured that even though that's kind of generic, I don't think there are any other Diggory patterns, so I think it will work out. Finished sweaters. You can use the hashtag for whatever you want, but only finished sweaters will be considered for the drawing at the end for a $50 Knitty McPurly gift card. So if you want to join in on that, that's great. If you don't have Instagram, but you want to join in, just email it to me and I will put it in a special place. Maybe my husband can make a special folder for that. Wouldn't that be amazing? That way I don't have to go back and look at every single email that's come my way. All right, my Molly sweater. I have actually worked on this. It's in my adorable bag that I got from Susan. Her Delightful Works. Delightful Works is the name of her shop, and it's just such a cute bag. I love it with the little tote. And I've got my Molly in here. Now I modified my sweater a little bit. This is where I am. It's supposed to go longer before you do the ribbing, and there's just a little bit of ribbing at the bottom. And I also had an increase to make it a little bit wider because at the time, let's see, I designed this in 2019, I think. let's see, 2019. And at the time, the slim sleeves and the wide body were all the rage. That was the thing. And so I made it a little wider then. But now I decided to take out the increases on the side of the sweater. Let's see if I can hold it up so that you can see it properly. And I took out the increases, so there's no shaping in the sides. And then I started, I know, it's so bright. I started the ribbing so that I plan to have about this much ribbing, maybe a little more. I'll probably try it on and just stop when I feel like I'm happy with it. But I think that, what was that? Got needles flying everywhere. Yeah, so I'm gonna be changing the style a little bit, and maybe I'll do the same thing on the sleeves. I was thinking of long sleeves, and I'm gonna keep them slim, but maybe I'll do a big chunky ribbing at the arm. That's very wearable. It's kind of practical. Any kind of blousiness in the wrist, like a bell sleeve, or if it's extra long, just doesn't suit my lifestyle. I think they're pretty, but I spend my life homeschooling and washing dishes and cleaning up and stuff like that. So, you know, anything that's too floppy here, like it's okay if it's a larger sleeve, but then it gets tight in the wrist because that kind of holds it in. But anyway, for this one, I think I'm gonna go slim all the way and then do a longer ribbing section. But I'm kind of excited about it again. I lost my interest in it for a little bit. Yeah, but I'm back. So that's good. I've been mainly working on Advent patterns, which is so fun. I know I talk about it every time, but that's what I'm working on day to day, and they are so great. Coming soon, coming for Advent. Murdog pins, I still have some left. Stickers have sold out, but I did order more, so stickers will be back probably by the end of the week, Murdog stickers. And sock rulers will be restocked soon too, so keep an eye out for that. If you watch the podcast, if you get the newsletter, I will be sure to announce it in plenty of time so that you can, if you really want a sock ruler, you can, you know, set a timer and go and get one right away. All right, so next we have Crocheting with Gigi, and then after that, I have a little segment of Charlotte's knitting to show you. So here are those. Welcome to Crocheting with Gigi.
The best segment here.
Gigi was like, I'm carrying this podcast.
Yeah.
People just fast forward
That's
through that other stuff.
Oh, wait, that's Gigi. Wait, stop. All right.
So last time we saw the squares.
A bunch of squares.
Separate, but now.
They're all together.
And they just go on and on. Look how pretty they are.
These ones are really nice.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to make this one really colorful, and I have a few more flowers in the making.
They just it looks so, so good. And this is bulky yarn, so it goes by pretty quick.
Yeah.
It is going to be beloved.
It is.
I'm so excited for it because even though it's for DAD, I still get to sit on the couch with it too.
Spell it?
Don't know. We did it this last time, remember?
He's not here, and even if he was, he knows how to spell a 3-letter phonetic word, Mom. All right.
So now, do you know?
Oh, this one's giving Virginia Tech.
Well, he went there.
He went there.
So,
boom.
Boom.
Please. Okay, I was going to say. You
now,
really
your sisters have heard that you've been on the podcast. So I have a Charlotte segment, which I'll be airing after this. Mm-hmm. She's kind of a camera hog, by the way. She would talk all day if I let her. And look what Alexis made.
Candy corn pillows. She is obsessed with fall. She's got blankets. She's got cute stuff.
Every other week, she's gone to Home Goods and she comes home with a bag full of fall stuff.
That's why I want a job.
I know.
I would be great at a job.
You do have a job.
Well, yeah, but then it's like scanning yarn. I'm just sitting there like.
I know. Just gotta skein it and skein it and skein it.
It's the candy corns.
The candy corn skein.
I just want to pelt someone with
Alexis made these with no pattern.
She made it in the same hour. She was just sitting there
yeah.
And she was like, look.
And she also, I'll put a picture up here. She also made these things to hang from her rearview mirror. One is a candy corn.
And one's a ghost.
And one's a ghost. And I've actually only seen this picture. I haven't actually gotten
She made them
in the
when
car.
you were gone. She was just sitting there for an hour. She was like, here's a candy corn. I came down 30 minutes later. She was like, oh yeah, here's a ghost. I was like, what?
Again, no pattern.
Just.
It takes some kind of confidence to go into a craft that you don't really know much about and be like, I could design my own. Yeah. But that's how she rolls. She's that way.
I am not.
I am not. I guess I am. I do write patterns, but...
Well, I made these little freak
from
shows.
the potato. Yeah. Yeah, no, you did. You did the corn. I was laying down on the job back there. Wake up, corn.
Wake up. And he's like, I'm always awake. He's like, what are we doing?
I'm ready.
He's like, oh, wait, get my good side.
Oh, gosh. So, Gigi and I have big plans for today.
Yes.
We're going to watch A Man for All Seasons, which is...
the greatest movie.
I love that movie so much.
I think it might be the greatest movie. There's nothing wrong with it.
St. Thomas More is my favorite saint.
He's going to be my confirmation saint because he's just so cool.
He's just so cool. I just love how people were like, no, you're going to do this. And he was like, no, I'm not.
I loved how he never, like, folded. And he never lost his temper. He was just like, no.
That's fine.
That's not happening.
No. I'll just sit here in the Tower of London.
They were like, do this or we'll kill you. He was like, then you may kill me. Yeah. Because I'm not going to lie.
Not afraid of death.
No.
Love
he was
that guy.
so cool.
So cool. So we're going to be crocheting and knitting and watching A Man for All Seasons today.
Greatest day ever.
I love that there's a Virginia Tech square.
I know.
That's cool.
This one's my favorite. The little piglet.
Oh, it is a piglet square. We need to name them all. There's like 60
I'm trying to
of them.
start theming them. Like, I'm going to make some... oh wait, like here I have a Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm gonna do some Christmas ones and Halloween.
Well, it'd just be red, green, and like yellow.
Yeah, because I don't want to pick 3 colors that like, I mean they all go together, but I don't want to pick 3 that like are boring. So I always try to pick one color I really like.
No. Oh, this one is really pretty.
That's
like that
a pretty one.
That one's really pretty.
Yeah, you can see which colors I like the most.
Yeah.
Because like the electric blue, there's a lot of it, and the yellow is like a teeny tiny little ball.
No, you've got... Oh, yeah, because you've used a lot of it. Yeah.
Well, you want a bunch of bright colors, and then like the dark colors need to be like accents.
Yes. You have good color sense, just like that sweater that I showed a little bit ago. Some people just have good color sense. And if you don't have good color sense, you should find someone who does. There's a lot of people out there who are good at it. Find one of those people and say, what do I do? Because it is heartbreaking when somebody doesn't know and they try and it doesn't work out.
That's why we have her. And you just text her and be like, hey, this is what I'm making. I see your yarn. Give me 3 colors.
I've always got 3 colors.
She's always got 3 colors.
Yeah. All right, Gigi.
Right.
Beat it.
Beat it.
Hi.
Hi. This is Charlotte. She's 8.
I think they already know me.
Well, just in case they forgot.
So I am knitting this.
So this is this going to be a scarf?
I'm just going to make it like, it's going to be a never-ending line of just...
This is the most knitting Charlotte has ever done. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
We've cast on before and you've knit a little bit, but not this much. It is super good. Super good. I love it. So this is like a white chenille. It's very soft.
Yeah, it's really, really soft.
So why'd you pick this color?
Well, I was in a hurry and I saw it and I really, really liked it. I love the feel. It's just really nice. Know what it feels like?
What?
It feels like...
Baby butts?
No, it's fluffy. It feels like really nice moss, but fluffy.
Moss, yes.
But not like dirty, like blech.
Right.
It's like nice and soft.
Like if moss were like a cartoon, it would feel like this.
Yeah.
Cartoon moss.
Yeah.
That is super good,
So can I show me knitting?
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I wanted to introduce you to a friend of Charlotte's and mine.
He is my school friend.
This is Kiwi.
And his glasses are fake.
There's no glass in there. But these are the same. These frames used to be Charlotte's. Did they break? Why did we get rid of these frames? Is this the spare pair? I don't remember.
This, I think I just wanted the blue.
Oh, okay. So we put these glasses on Kiwi. And Kiwi is Charlotte's school teacher.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's always helping her do her schoolwork.
And there's 2 things that I always do. Tickle his feet.
She does that when she's trying to get
And
me
does
to not
this.
pay attention to school. Stop trying to bite my nose. But in school, Kiwi's joke is that he loves muffins. And so he always wants muffins.
And Alexis, she made this. It is a muffin for Kiwi. He is obsessed with them.
Muffins!
Doesn't it almost look like from Mario, like the little toad? But it looks like a muffin.
We had one of those up there.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had Toad up there.
We did.
But Alexis works from no patterns. She just
Yeah, she
guesses.
makes her own.
But she made Kiwi a muffin, which is just going to distract him during school time when he's supposed to be working. All right, say goodbye, Kiwi. Bye.
Oh, and we have a secret signal, though.
We do?
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, right.
So-
It's this.
Two flaps.
Double flap. What does it mean again?
It means it means like start doing this. Like keep doing it.
Get on it.
Yeah.
That's right. He doesn't have to say anything. He just...
Then it's a clue for you.
So next week, are you going to come and show us a bigger?
Oh yeah, next week I'm guessing it's going to be like this long. I'm going to show me knitting for a second though.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So you gotta hold it up. See.
I know. Just let me like get through the front door.
And through the front door.
And that goes once around the back, peek through the window, and off jumps Jack. But I can do it really fast. See?
I know, you are
I
amazing.
can go in.
So good. Yeah, that is super good. All right, thanks, Shar.
You're welcome.
Want to say goodbye to the friends?
First,
Bye, friends.
who's watching this?
Say hi to Nana. Hi, Nana. The comment section. All right, Tara, who is Yarn Chicken and Stuff, says, I love Stephen West's artistry. I have also seen a lot of complaints about his designs, color choices, etc. And I think these people just need to be creative. Oh, I forgot to put there we go. Now I don't look like I'm looking down. His designs can look normal by just using normal colors. And she has normal in quotes. I have seen some people do his shawls in just one color, and with all the texture, they are simply stunning. Absolutely, 100% yes to that. Christy Glass Knits says, my 17-year-old daughter thinks everything I do is stupid. Hashtag relatable, right? The teenagers, oh my gosh. She says, love the Afghan colors, love the Rocky story, so glad I stopped by. So I had a couple people message me this week and say that Christy talked about me in her Patreon Wednesday thing. And that was so nice. That just made my week. I loved it. I loved it. I think that Christy is a class act and I really like her. And she moved to Virginia recently. Not close to me, a couple hours away, but hopefully someday, maybe we can meet in like Charlottesville, do some yarn store visiting. That sounds amazing. Okay, Amy S. Amy says, I'm glad to hear people are interested in an Audrey knit along, and a bunch of people said they were, so we're definitely gonna do it in October. She said, this will be a deep stash dive for me. I've had the yarn and the plans for years, and now I am motivated. I agree that Stephen West is an artist, so creative. I'm not a lover of knitting surprises, so I won't participate in the MCAL. However, your color suggestions are so tempting. Putting 4 together really highlights your cohesive collection of colors. Awesome. I think so too. If I were to participate, I would definitely choose your yarn. Can't wait to see Gigi's finished colorful blanket. Well, it is coming along. It is just great. She, they went back to school. And Gigi's in 8th grade this year, and 8th grade is a lot more work than 7th grade was, which is good because the school where she goes, it's 7th through 12th, and your grades for college don't actually count until 9th. So this is good preparation for that because Gigi is hoping to go to college for free. That's like her goal. Anyway, because of all that, crocheting has taken a bit of a backseat, but she is still working on it. Katie Bear, 1966, Barry, I'm not sure. Gigi's blanket is going to be amazing. Her DAD is going to love his blanket too. Chemo caps are such a great idea. I've made 4 blankets for my church group this year. Stephen West has great MCALs. His patterns and tutorials are awesome. I just love all of the colors of your yarn for this MCAL. So last week, if you didn't see it, I talked about Stephen West's mystery shawl knit along. It went on sale at the beginning of September, and then it starts at the beginning of October. And how cool I think Steven is. I think he's an amazing artist and a great businessman. And a lot of you agreed with me, which I thought was great. But another thing I've heard is that his patterns really walk you through everything. You're never looking at it like, I don't know what to do next. There's always a video or a tutorial. He really walks you through things that are a little different because he does different crazy stuff. So it's nice to have him walk you through that, which is great. Lynn from LYN says, I absolutely loved your story behind the Murdog. I've got my second Faux Set on the blocking board, and I have the yarn accumulating for Faux Set number 3. I get it. I have 5. That's crazy. That's nutty. Loving the combined color of the month. Greetings from Autumn from across the pond in England. I have a lot of watchers from England. Hello, British friends. HDJ961 says, thank you for recommending Norman Schwartz of Nimble Needles. I popped into his YouTube and gosh, the minutes flew by. So much wonderful information and ideas, all presented in a very easy to understand way and with a dash of humor. I have been knitting for more years than I care to admit, but I learned such a lot from a few short videos. That's great to know. I just found Norman's blog, and I found his blog articles to be just what you said, so detailed, so intricate, like the pictures that I showed last week, talking about the anatomy of the knit stitch. And if you think about what it is, it helps you to do things like grafting, because what you're doing is you are recreating the knit stitch, and all that is a loop. And I just thought he explained it so well, but I have not been on his YouTube channel, but maybe I need to go look. Whenever I look through the comments, I want to read absolutely all of them. And I pick out so many, and I didn't even get to half of them. So thank you so much to all of you who leave me comments. Shauna Stitches says, I agree with your ideas about Stephen West. He is a genius. I always learn so much during the MCAL, and it's fun to have no fear in how it's going to come out. Yes, I love that. Although there have been some strange elements, in the end, I've always had a beautiful shawl/work of art in the end. This will be my 6th year participating. So at the retreat, Carista of Sweet Mountain Crafts, she is delightful, and she has a YouTube channel too. You should go check her out if you haven't seen her. But she taught a class on art, freeform art weaving, and she got up in front of everyone and she held up a Stephen West shawl that she knit, and she goes, I wore this through the airport and not one person said anything to me. And so this giant room of knitters just burst into applause because it was gorgeous and fabulous, and we couldn't believe no one had said anything. Like, what is wrong with these people? It was amazing. So anyway, yeah, if I were just a regular knitter and I didn't have my own business and my own interests, I would absolutely do Stephen's Mystery Knit Along just because it seems so cool. This is an interesting comment from Andrea Bush. She says, I love the Molly sweater. I would need to make the bicep with more ease for my comfort or leave off the bicep portion. Is there an easy way to make the arms less fitting? Good question. So what I would do with this sweater, it's kind of like this one where you end up picking up the stitches. I would just pick up more stitches. And the Molly sweater, even though it is a drop shoulder, it still has a little bit of short row shaping in the top just to make it fit your arm better when you know, because we don't walk around like this. You know, your arms hang down, and so there is a little bit of short row shaping here. But it doesn't affect the fact that, you know, if you just need more space, you just pick up a few more stitches, and you can go by the gauge. I don't know the gauge offhand. I don't have that page here. I only have the page I'm working on, but you can go by the gauge and figure out how many inches around the sleeve is and how many inches you want to add. So if, for example, it's 8 rows per inch, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I don't have these things memorized, but then you would just pick up 8 extra stitches around and you'd get that extra inch. So good question. Paige V, hi Paige. I love Paige. She is awesome. She says, I love this comment. It's great. She says, the Murdog pin is so cute. I ordered 2, one for me and one for a gift for a friend who loves Boston Terriers. Well, who doesn't? I mean, they're just the best dogs in the world. She says, I have a Murdog sticker on my tablet, and whenever I knit in public, I set it up to see my pattern. Almost every time someone asks me about the sticker. When I explain what it is, they laugh and they say they love it. One gentleman said that he has Boston Terriers and wanted to know where he could get a sticker. I gave him your info. Now, every time I go to the coffee shop where we meet, I look for him to see if he has a sticker. That's awesome. Like, you have your sticker yet? Come on, where is it? Do you need Devin's website again? Again, really? Oh, that's hilarious. She says, I too am excited about the Audrey knit along. I had planned to make one this coming season. Great show as always. Thank you for being you. Awesome, awesome comment, Paige. I'm so glad everybody's excited about the Audrey knit along. The Audrey sweater was one that came to me and I knit it in 4 days and I had it to the tech editor in like the week after that. And then we started the test knit. It was just a super quick one. Sometimes that happens. It's a quick knit because it's worsted weight. I feel like Audrey would be great as a fingering sweater too, but it would take a lot longer because part of the beauty of Audrey is how quickly it goes because it's worsted weight. Anyway, all right, knitting fantasies. I just have one pick for you today, and that is the Felix pullover by Amy Christoffers. Because when Sherry, one of the lovely ladies who sent me this email, when she messaged me, she told me that she is making a Felix out of my yarn in the bougie colorway. I feel like she said she was holding DK together with mohair. And this is an Aran weight pattern, so that would be about it. DK plus a fuzzy lace weight. A regular lace weight, I don't think would get you to Aran. That'd be more like worsted, but a fuzzy lace weight, I think would get you all the way to Aran. But she mentioned this sweater, and I thought, I don't know that one, so I went to look it up. And it's very basic, but it has an interesting construction, and it has a tiny bit of lace just in the raglan shaping. And I'm pretty sure that my friend Amy from Southern Virginia, Amy J, who came to the retreat, had one on in black. Are you there, Amy? Hi, Amy. Is this the sweater? Because I remember looking at it and being intrigued by the raglan shaping because it's not a standard raglan. It has a different kind of shaping in it, which I thought was really interesting. I'm not that familiar with Amy Christoffers, but she's a very popular knitter. This sweater, even though it is so basic, has almost 5,000 projects on Ravelry. It's just a tremendous amount. So people love it. If you're looking for a really basic Aran weight sweater, this looks awesome. But I can't wait to see Sherry's. No, not Bougie. She did it in Frost, I think. Somebody else did something in Bougie. I don't know. I went through all my emails today and tried to like catch myself up. Yeah. Okay. So here's what happened. I am very blessed to say that I have a small queue of So Here's What Happened stories, which is great. If you sent me one and I don't read it today, it's because it's in the queue and I am saving it for another podcast. This is a comment that came from last week's podcast, but it was so relevant and such a great knitting story that I thought it needs its own segment. This is from So Beautiful. And she says, my mom, and so much about this story, I felt like I could relate to as somebody who had cancer and tried to like laugh about it as much as possible. I try to laugh about everything because that's just how I live my life, I guess. I don't know. That's just my natural response to everything is to laugh about it. Okay, so she says, my mom had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and was given 3 to 5 years to live. She lived and truly lived all of it too, for 15 years. That in itself is amazing. Don't give up. Don't give up, friends. At the end of it, I took a leave of absence from my job to look after my mom so she could live out the rest of her time at home. During her final 6 months, she was back on chemo and lost all of her hair. Since she had a good sense of humor, she put on hoop earrings and a white t-shirt, and I took her picture as Mr. Clean. That's awesome. When we went to the hospital to pick out a couple of wigs for her from the little shop the Cancer Society ran, she tried out all the weird colors and styles of wigs, and we laughed and had so much fun. My husband and I did that too. And he's bald naturally. So he put on wigs and we took pictures, and it was so, so funny. She says, the lady at the shop took me aside and said that I shouldn't joke with my mom like that because people going through chemo are sensitive. I know that most people are, and I would never joke with someone else like that, but I told her that she didn't know my mom. Joking and laughter were what kept her alive. Mom did pick out 2 lovely, sensible wigs to wear when she was out in public, which brings me to the knitting part. We were sitting together watching TV. Mom was dozing off and on, and I was knitting. She asked me what I was making, and I showed her. It was a chemo cap made of tan and light brown variegated yarn. She hated wearing her wigs at home. Oh, I get it. I only wore mine when I was like out and had to look nice. She found them itchy and uncomfortable, so often didn't wear anything on her head, and her head got cold. She did have some nice, soft jersey chemo caps that she had also gotten the day that we picked up the wigs, but they were starting to get stretched out of shape from being worn and washed. Mom tried on the one that I made and loved it. It was soft, comfortable, and warm, stayed nicely on her head, and best of all, gave her the look of having short, spiky hair, which of course she thought was hilarious. So she asked if I could make a few more. So of course I did. I made one in red, one in pink, one in black, and one in bright blue. She loved them. So much so that after the funeral, where she wore her nicest wig for the public, I had them trade the wig for her pink one to match the pink blouse she was wearing. I like to think of her looking down at me and smiling in her pink wig, knowing that I made it out of love for her. That is such a beautiful story, and I don't even know your name. Her name on YouTube is SEW. So beautiful. But that was just such a wonderful story. I love everything about it. This is why we knit, right? For the people that we love. I mean, I knit for myself a lot because not everyone is knit worthy, but your mom, obviously, extremely, extremely knit worthy. That is just awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and I'm off to knit and watch a movie with probably just Gigi, because whenever we watch movies that aren't like Pixar movies, everybody's like, we're not interested. But A Man for All Seasons won Best Picture in 1966, I think. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Highly recommend. All right, have a great week, guys. See you next time. Bye.